a very slow, selective start to our
to our weekly broadcast
this week. Oh yeah, it has the excitement of the UFC brass for the last card that happened. Written all over it. This episode does. It was a good card. I'm kind of mad that we didn't get too much build up for it. I think for whatever reason Manel Kape has always been kind of under the radar and not really, I don't know, just praised in the way that I feel like he should. Like his speed, his list of people that he's been able to beat. He's only really dropped it to the champ and one other person, I think. But he's been on a tear since he's been in the UFC. Magomedov. So, yeah, I like what I saw this weekend, and it was a cool fight to watch, minus,
So, I mean, we kind of have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Just because
Didn't mean to jump right into it.
I was like no warm up.
We need a banter first.
No lube.
Wait, let's banter first. How was your weekend? What'd you do? Stuff, aside from watching fights. So did I. I also did stuff. Okay, now let's get into it.
Oh my gosh. Almabayev's poor eyes.
Oh man. But for some reason I have a little less.
You don't
sympathy.
feel bad for him.
You know why?
Why?
Because the way he was running. He was doing the
Well, he couldn't see.
Before that.
He could not see the whole fight. He was
No.
complaining the whole fight about his eyes.
The pressure of Kape was making him back up to the cage. At first, he was pushing Kape forward, but then he was backing up to the cage, and as soon as he felt his butt on the cage, he turned and go like that. And
I only saw one extreme sprint.
I saw
There was only one Chelsea moment.
I saw at least two Chelseas before the first Eyepoke, which actually wasn't an Eyepoke.
There was one legit Eyepoke and then one knuckle.
I think there were two Eyepokes after the knuckle,
Yes.
but I think your eye is like made a little more sensitive after it gets punched in the eye.
Yeah.
Because you can poke the eye with the knuckle as well.
Oh, yeah. It hurts just the same.
And he had a cut right in here. So, there was a lot of pressure that just kind of pushed in right on his eye socket. So I'm not mad at him for complaining, but I do think the eye pokes that were happening in this fight were a lot less egregious than the one that we saw with the Henry Cejudo fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't a bowling ball eye finger in the eye socket, but sometimes that scraping motion can feel
But there were
just as
two,
bad.
so there was scraping and there was stabbing.
I didn't see the stab.
There was stabbing.
When?
Scraping and stabbing right after the scrape.
Pull it up. I didn't see it. I don't believe you. But, if there was stabbing, then that is also bad.
It was very stabby. It was very rakey. It was all bad. Hold on.
I do feel like when you run, odd things happen. It's like when you're someone who intends to throw weird flippy kicks, there's going to be a nut shot. When you run, it's a lot easier to try to reach your opponent and then something pops out. But at the same time, I feel like I've only really eye poked in training. And as soon as it happens, you're like, oh shit, and you close your fingers. To have multiple eye pokes, there needs to be something addressed. But
I wonder if there was something to him kind of crying wolf or complaining the whole time that made Beltran, who was the ref in that fight, completely dismiss the third and final complaint before the TKO. Mm-hmm. It was pretty bad though when they slowed it down. Hold on, let me skip this out.
And if you're in Beltran's shoes, you also missed the rake one, which the officials said was a legal punch, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, this is 2 times that this guy has said he's getting poked in the eye when he hasn't. I'm just gonna.
There's the poke.
Let's see.
It was right after the rake. Okay, so here, and this is going like really slowly. So go back. Okay, so rake. Very bad. Why is this going so fucking slow?
I think that was the one that Beltran stopped it, and then he said, "Oh,
and
it was
then
fine."
Right after that rake was that.
That's also a rake.
That was stabby.
That's 2 rakes.
That was a poke and a rake.
That looks like 2 rakes for me.
I
but
feel like
I'll take
your
eyes
word for it. Would complain.
I'll take your word for it. It looks like 2 rakes. It's the motion is what I'm always looking at when I'm like, ooh, that looks bad. Like if you're coming back into the person you're fighting and the finger goes in as you're coming back in, that is a lot of time. Or if you're pushing them away and you push them away with your finger in their eyeball, those are the ones that are really nasty and really get a big reaction from the crowd. But the raking ones can feel just as bad. Like that's how you get a detached retina.
Yeah.
So they're all bad. But I think in the heat of the moment, if the guy already seemed to have cried wolf, I think he mistook a punch first. And then the second time when Beltran stopped the action and then they said it was a legal punch, but then they slowed it down and showed that there was a rake that happened. Then that's 2 times that you said he's fouling me, and from your understanding he didn't. So you're gonna kind of let the action keep playing out because you don't want to get in the middle of the fight. And Beltran is one of the best refs at not disrupting the motion of the fight. So I get the criticism from fans saying that Beltran should have been paying more attention, or hey, how did you miss those eye pokes? But the way that the fight happened, it's understandable.
And I mean, there's so much room for human error. You can't hate on him too much. He did the best with what he was working with in all the circumstances. I mean, besides the eye pokes, Kape did a really amazing display of footwork, feints, volume, speed. He just put on a really great show. And I think as long as the eye pokes, the fouls are not clouding the judgment of everyone, I think we can kind of agree that it was a masterful performance, and I think that it catapults him to title contention.
Yeah, I mean, the way that he called for it, too. He called for it after his last fight as well against, Bruno Silva. And I'd love to see it happen. I think he's climbed his way back up to that opportunity. We have Kai Kara-France fighting Pantoja. They just announced that. When is that fight happening?
I'm not entirely sure, but I can Google it for you.
Yeah, so that fight's happening. I can't see why you wouldn't want to give Kape the winner of that one. You know he's going to put on a show. You know he's going to be impressive. He's improved, I feel like, since his fight with Magomedov. He's thrown a lot more volume. He hasn't relied too much on waiting for that perfect shot, but he's smothered his opponents. He's not necessarily out striking them, but he's really making his strikes count and putting them where he wants them to be in the cage before he opens up and lets loose. So I would love to see what that fight would look like. I don't remember the first one, him versus Pantoja, but it went to decision. It was a decision loss, and I'd love to see the improvements that he's made since then.
So they will be fighting on April 12th. They will be fighting underneath Volkanovski versus Lopez for the featherweight championship.
Is that's Australia?
Yeah. No, sorry, Miami, Florida.
Oh,
I know. I thought it was going to be Australia too. That made so much sense.
Guys.
I'm like, that just makes a lot of sense.
I mean, Florida is a big tourist destination for Australians.
Totally. Yeah.
Reminds them of home. They got a coral reef here too. Blimey, and shrimps on the Barbie and all that.
Yeah, that should be.
I gave up before I started. Yeah,
I was like, what the?
I gave up on that so fast.
They do have shrimps on the Bobby though.
They do.
Yes. They also have kangaroos and wallabies.
In Florida?
No.
Oh. Maybe at what's the name's place, Tiger King. I bet he has some.
I think he shut down. No,
probably.
Is he?
Yeah,
he might
he
be in
has to
jail.
be.
I think he's in jail.
I'm hoping that the animals are somewhere else now that he's in jail.
I always worry about the animals.
Yeah.
It's like in a divorce. You worry about the kids. Same with the animals.
Yeah, exactly. Who's the chick? Carol Baskins or whatever? What was her name?
Yeah. Do you know they found her husband? He's still alive.
Oh, no way.
Yes. She didn't kill him.
Dang.
And feed him to her cats.
Are you sure that's him? It could be a clone. Stand-in. It's just a tiger in a hat.
Wearing his skin like freaking Hannibal Lecter or something. Yeah. Or Wild Bill. Who was it? Buffalo Bill in that movie?
Yeah, Buffalo Bill.
Yeah. Wild Bill.
Would you fuck a tiger?
No.
We're off the rails. It's a wild bill.
We
it's
didn't
a
get a warm up. We can never do this again.
Wow, would you fuck me?
I'm picturing a tail tucked between the legs.
Oh,
it's
yes.
really unpleasant. I just wanted to stop.
Anyway,
I'm not gonna be able to edit any of this out.
No,
none of this is gonna be clipped. No, none of this is gonna be clipped.
No, it's gonna stay in. You know, it's gonna stay in. I'm just gonna slide the people out a little sooner, so you don't have Kape and Almabayev while we're talking about fucking a tiger.
Into the shenanigans.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to get it confused. That would be bad.
Or. Give them something to talk about.
Grr.
Could be fun. Great.
It could be great. All right. So, okay. So he just beat Almabayev, Bruno Silva. Yeah, I think this would be a great matchup. He's been putting in work. Pantoja's pretty much cleaned out the top of the division. He's fighting Kai Kara-France again. So yeah, give him another rematch if he makes it past this.
They're all rematches.
Or if Kai wins, this is an even more fun fight because they haven't fought yet.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah.
Although I kind of like Pantoja at the top. I just kind of want him to stay there for a little bit longer.
We need the dominant champ. I
do.
feel like we keep losing them.
Yeah. I have high hopes, and then,
You're like, you're going to be here forever. No.
Where are the days of like Matt Hughes and Anderson Silva,
right?
And Chuck Liddell,
George St. Pierre.
GSP,
you couldn't get him out of here. It's like, I'm going to come back and get my belt back. And it's done. Okay, I'm out again. Yeah.
Such a tease.
I know.
It's freaking Canadians. It's the French Canadians. It's the French Canadians. Not all Canadians. It's the French ones.
Yeah, so that would be a fun one. And what did you think about the co-main?
Hold on. Let me get my wits about me. Like, what happened?
Which was...
No, I know who it was. Brundage and Marquez.
Dude, for me, it's like in one ear and out the other. I'm like, which... I'm like, who fought yesterday? What are we talking about?
No, it was weird, and I just rewatched them too.
Dude, it's tough. I mean, this card too, it's the name value, so you're not going, man, I can't wait for 2 months from now when Kape fights Almabayev for the #1 contender
and
spot.
And we just had Seattle, so,
Yeah, Seattle was pretty big.
Kind of need to come down after Seattle.
Yeah. It's good for the people working the show too.
Yeah, it wasn't fair to this fight night. Sorry, guys. We just, we had big weekend the other weekend, so
lots of
still
big
recovering.
Weekends.
Still recovering.
And then LA just happened too. There was a lot of big fight nights recently that we gotta have some easy ones in between. Chill weekends in between.
So we had Cody, Brundage, and Julian Marquez. Marquez dropped his 4th fight by KO in a row.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's on a bit of a skid. He's only been fighting about averaging like once a year since like 2021 when he started dropping his fights. And to his credit, he really took it to Cody early on. Cody was a lot more aggressive and assertive in this fight than he had been. And he got his mouthpiece knocked out, then he knocked out a mouthpiece, and then he landed a knee just before poor Marquez got his mouthpiece back in. It was trying to find an opportune moment to like safely and like unintrusively interject and help the guys out. But man, they were throwing down.
There was no good moment to get in there.
Even when it was stopped, it still really wasn't that.
No, someone was getting punched. Wow.
He's like, all right, that's enough. I
I
can't watch anymore.
The only safe way to stop that would be to jump in between them, eat a couple blows in order to safely go, okay, guys,
Yeah,
here's your mouth.
he doesn't get paid enough for that.
Here's your
Don't do it.
mouthpieces. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was funny because they have that thing where you can listen to it on the radio now. So you can listen to the commentary while you're driving somewhere. So when that fight was live, I was heading home and I could hear them going crazy, and it sounded like an old school like radio when they're watching
fun.
the box. It was cool. It was cool, especially that fight. That was like the perfect fight to try that out with. But as soon as they're like, "Oh, he knocked his mouthpiece out," and then there's another mouthpiece on the floor. What are they gonna do about the mouthpiece? The ref has grabbed both mouthpiece. Will he put it in? He puts in the mouthpiece, but they're switched. Mouthpiece Gate, everyone. And I'm just like, what the hell? I need to see this fight. So I'm kind of annoyed because when I watched the fight, it wasn't as like exciting as it was in my head, but it was still insane.
It was pretty epic.
The commentary really made it as epic as it was.
That's why they paid the big bucks.
Yeah, it helped make it as epic as it was. But what a crazy fight. I enjoyed his style coming out there, Brundage's style when he came out there. It was very kind of cocky Muay Thai, coming in with his hands slow, coming in hard with the kicks, hard with the 1 and the 2 punch combinations. So I don't think that style will work on everyone. But it did a really good job. He did get, what did he get dropped with before
I think it was a right.
he came back?
I thought it was a right hand.
It was the right hand over. So he would come in with his hands low, land big combinations. But then when he exited, his lead hand was really low. And a couple times Marquez threw that, and I'm like, ooh, that's going to land. And then right as he's, because the fight was so short, right as I'm saying, ooh, that's going to land, it does. Mm-hmm. And he was on Queer Street. So it was really good reffing. I felt like he gave him a ton of time to come back. As soon as I was like, ooh, maybe he should jump in, Brundage came back with some punches of his own. He was able to land that knee, like you said. And then I kind of wonder if he's going to have like a Jamal Hill moment, Julian Marquez will after looking at the fight, because right after they stopped it, gave him the mouthpieces, he gets dropped. Mm-hmm. And it's like, was the momentum halting part of that moment? Like, did that lead to him getting dropped, or would that have happened anyway? Because they were both pretty hurt at that point.
Yeah. It looked to me like Cody was evading the punches, and he was still keeping safe, even though he was in trouble, even though he was rocked. He was still keeping his wits about him. When he threw the knee, I feel like that was the start of the momentum change, and then it was paused. So I feel like it almost gave Marquez a moment.
Yeah, a second to not,
because that knee was not that knee like landed hard. So I feel like when the ref interjected at that point, I felt like it almost gave Marquez a second chance.
Okay.
But again, you never know. You don't know what it's going to look like. We can only speculate. I almost at one point I wondered, well, if you gave Cody so much opportunity to recover on his feet, why not give Marquez that same courtesy while he's trying to get back up?
Yeah, and I wonder about that too. It looked like he was okay, but then he didn't complain after it was stopped. It's almost like if you're down there and you're getting hit and you're losing time, when the ref jumps in, you're not surprised.
Yeah.
But if he was okay, and if he was just trying to build back and just kind of getting thrown off balance, then it sucks if that's how much time he was given to recover.
When I saw his reaction after the fight was stopped, I let go of that thought and idea, because he just looked like he was still kind of out of it, and he looked like, it was just like, fuck.
Yeah. It was a tough one round.
Yeah, that was a whole fight in one round.
There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of getting hit and hitting, and man, that was crazy. But I was even less mad about the stoppage because that was our pick.
Yes.
That was our pick. We went,
so it's okay.
We were 2-1 last night, so you guys better pay attention because we're doing pretty good right now. We're kind of on a streak of better choices than not choices.
We've been on a streak.
Yeah,
we've been streaking.
We're on a streak of good being in the positive at least.
Absolutely.
Of our picks. So y'all better pay attention.
Seriously.
We're at least at 88%.
High 80s for sure.
Yes.
Get it.
Yes.
Get it.
So we'll let you know what we think about the next card. But were there any other fights that you really enjoyed? I mean, this card?
What did you think of the? I always get Haqparast, Nasrat, and Ribovics fight because I could have kind of seen it going the other way, and I'm not mad. I'm not saying it was a robbery. It was a really freaking close fight, and I think to me the round in question was the second round. I don't know what you thought, but I thought the first round, Nasrat got it. I think that I almost was kind of leaning towards Ribovics in the second round, but I also understood how they could have seen it the other way. And then I thought the third, Ribovics finished strong.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny? I thought Ribovics was doing good in the first round. Mm-hmm. So I got to go back and watch that because when I saw everyone picking Haqparast, I was like, wait a second, what did I miss? So I got to go back and watch that. But watching it live, I thought Ribovics was doing well in the first round. It was super close, but I was like, I think he did enough to win. And then I saw the tweets and, listening to the commentary and everything. That's what everyone saw opposite. So that's why I'm like, okay, I need to go back and watch that round. But yeah, like it was just a super close fight. And yeah, it's hard to tell when a fight's that close what they're going to score. But I think, who was it? Chris Lee. He was the one who scored it for Ribovics. And it was not the score that people thought it was. Actually, he scored it like I did. Which now I'm like, oh no, I'm scoring things like Chris Lee. I have become the enemy. I have become what I most feared. A judge that sucks.
Hold on. So you said Chris Lee. So he scored the first round for Esteban Ribovics, the second round for Haqparast, and then the third for Esteban Ribovics.
Yeah. So that's what makes me think, okay, maybe I'm not crazy, but then it also makes me think maybe I am a crazy shitty judge. Oh God.
You know what? I really appreciate you really putting up a mirror.
The honesty.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Looking back at myself and I see a monster.
We all have one inside of us.
But at the same time, I'm watching it as a fan, so I'm not really scoring minute by minute, and I'm not saying, okay, this guy had a more impactful this and this guy had a more impactful that, but I did see round one going to Ribovics the one time I watched it. So yeah, it was a really good fight. Like, it was back and forth. That's the kind of fight that makes me wish there were draws.
Yeah.
Because if they're both doing work, if they're both hurting each other, and it's an exciting fight, they're not running, they're not, just trying to goon it, trying to get a takedown and just not do anything with it. They're both hitting and scoring and making it nasty. Why do you have to pick a winner if you can't tell who won?
I think there should be more draws, and we've talked about this before. I think that MMA deserves more draws. I know it's not popular or, sexy on the scorecards, but I know it doesn't turn heads, but I think that it's honest.
No makeup. This scorecard needs some lipstick. Give him a 10-8 for no reason. No reason at all. I feel like that's what people do. I feel like judges will be watching around. And they're like, I don't know who won, But I thought the other guy won the first round, so I'm going to give it to this guy for the second round. You know what I mean?
I would love to
That
sit
happens
down
a
with one
lot.
of the judges and just ask them, like, hey, how do you, like, do you toss a coin?
Yeah. Like when it's dead even, what do you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a checklist of things. So damages at the top, then random stuff like ring control, damage again. I guess optics.
More
who's
damage.
And then that's the other thing. Who's more tired isn't supposed to be part of the criteria, but a lot of times it becomes part. And I guess they think the more tired fighter got beat up more, but that's not necessarily the case. The
Could be the one putting in more work.
exactly. So it's all objective, and that's why it should be more draws, in my opinion. Because if you have 3 people watching a fight, if 2 of them score the fight a draw, then it's fair that it's a draw.
Yeah.
You know, that's I think more people would agree with draws than with split decisions. So, but at least they got fight of night.
Yeah, they earned it.
Yeah,
That was great.
they
Great performance.
went after it. Yeah, there was a bunch of cool fights on the card, but there were a couple of people we knew. We
Yes.
had Charles Johnson, which was another close fight. It ended up going to Temirov. He fought Ramazanbek Temirov, and you know,
Look at you go.
perfect enunciation.
Well done.
Ramazan Beck, not to be confused with Amazon, who has not delivered my package yet. I'm very upset. It was a good fight, a lot of back and forth. And Charles Johnson, he kind of dropped the first round as he usually does, but he really gained momentum in the second. And then the third, he was chasing the guy. He was taking over, just hitting and making a mess. And so I was a little upset about that one because Charles Johnson finished stronger in the second round, ended up dropping the first and second round. And it just kind of sucks because he always gets the toughest matchups. Like he has fought every of in the flyweight division, like everyone, and he's done really well for himself too, fighting them all. So tough fight, but it was a great fight to watch. And I'm like, man, if he could just get to that point where he's fighting 5 rounds, I think he's gonna win a lot of those fights.
I think so too. He's like one of those fighters that just needs some time to warm up.
Yeah, he just needs to suss it out, make his calculations. He's a very cerebral fighter, like he's thinking of all the animes and how they correlate to what's happening right then and there. He's like using the person's momentum against him. He's like gathering his energy ball. He has to do all that during the first round.
Yeah.
So it's understandable if you drop that one in order to get the energy ball fully charged, and then he lets it out in the second and third. So sometimes it just takes a little too long to charge, and then that's what you get. But I'd love to see him in a 5-round fight next. So that's our buddy Charles Johnson. And then JJ Aldrich, she's been coming through a little bit. She's besties with Ashley Yoder. So she's been coming through a couple times, and she got a big win over Andrea KGB Lee.
Yeah, and that's a good win. That I was really impressed, and I mean, seeing her spar, I'm not surprised how the fight went.
Girl is good.
she's a really solid fighter. She's well-rounded. She was giving Andrea Lee a really hard time. She was always just out of range, and Andrea has like really nice straight punches. She has great boxing for MMA, and she just could not connect when she needed to. Yeah. And it was the footwork and just, the eyes, the awareness of JJ Aldrich in that fight that ended up getting it to her. She's just a really fucking solid person.
She is. I screamed when she got that takedown too. It was so nice in the first.
She made it look so easy.
Yeah, and I wanted her to do it again, but sometimes you just don't find that rhythm, or you catch someone off guard and they're like, oh, I didn't know we were throwing takedowns. So then they're a little more ready in the second and third. But she did a great job in that fight, just finding different moments to explode, finding her openings, and then really good defensively too. Like, I was worried that the judges were going to see KGB's volume and score it more, even though it was getting deflected and she was just kind of running forward and not really landing anything clean. But Al just did a great job of, getting out of the way or blocking or moving and then coming back with her own clean shots. Her 1-2 looked amazing this fight too, right down the pipe. So congratulations, JJ. And yeah, that's all I had. Any other fights you want to talk about?
No, those were mine. Hold on, let me pull them back up. No, those are the ones that I really think that should have been highlighted. So I couldn't watch the Gomez and Amil fight, but I heard there was some controversy about that decision. Did you see it?
It was a split. But I kind of agreed with the split.
Okay.
I felt like Gomis, he had kind of a very Thai style, like an upright kickboxing style. And Amil was just waiting in. Mm-hmm. He was just kind of pressuring him, coming in with big punches, landing the bigger stuff while Gomis was kind of landing the stuff on the back foot. And I don't know, for me, it looked like Amil was doing more damage and making him react more when he would get hit. But it could also just be a balance thing, because when you move backwards to strike, then you can get knocked off balance a little easier. It doesn't really mean that you're getting hurt or getting wobbled or, dropped to the body. You're just kind of off balance when you're throwing something. But that little bit of information, I felt like, was enough to give Amil the win. Felt like he was just doing a little bit more in there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I could see it going to Gomez too. It's just one of those fights where it's like a style fight. So whatever you're kind of privy to looking at and thinking, oh, that looks clean, like a clean head kick or just like a really pretty like 1-2 and then stepping to the side, then maybe you're scoring it for Gomez. But Amil was just kind of crushing everything that he had. And yeah, it was a good fight.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we have some exciting fights coming up next weekend. Like, on to the next. This poor card, we just have nothing more to talk about with it.
We're done.
We have UFC 313. We have Pereira versus Ankalaev. Gaethje versus Fiziev. I don't know if I said that right. And then Fiziev.
I think that's how you say it. We need that guy to come on and pronounce all the names for us.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Who did Charles Johnson fight again?
But yeah, that's the main and the co-main. So we got asked on Twitter when I tweeted out to ask your questions. Yeah, we had somebody asking what we think of that one. Everybody is leaning towards Pereira winning this one.
Okay.
I mean, I think Ankalaev does have a chance, but if we're looking at history and we're just looking at the momentum that Alex has created for himself, I think it's a really tough night for Ankalaev.
That's wild that people are leaning towards Pereira, because I really feel like Ankalaev has a huge chance. Like, for me, it's like a heart bet. Yeah, I feel like because I really like just the story that Alex Pereira brings to the table.
Yeah.
And Ankalaev it's just, I don't understand how you can get finishes in the UFC and still people aren't paying attention. Like, he's a destroyer. He's striking, he's good. Grappling, he's phenomenal. He can hurt people on the feet. Like, I don't understand why he doesn't get like the credit that he deserves.
It's because of the snooze fest. The last time they gave him a chance for a title shot. This is why. This is all people remember him for. But if they look back at his record, he has a pretty impressive resume. Mm-hmm. And he does have the wrestling. He has the takedown ability, which is, historically a weakness for for Alex.
Yeah, I think if you're a fighter in the UFC, you want to be Ankalaev. You want to be the guy that is under the radar, that people are afraid to say yes to, but the UFC is still like, kind of putting you under there because then I don't even know what I'm saying.
Just say it, girl.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Just say it with your chest.
I just feel like he's going to be the next dominant champion. Like, he's already just run through everyone else. And once he gets to the top, after the immediate rematch that would happen if he were to win, I think he stays on top.
I just
but I've like Pereira is who I'm picking when it comes to who's gonna win. It's just it doesn't feel like a safe bet at all.
It doesn't. Like, it's not a lock. It's not one. I would not be surprised. Of course, I'm rooting for that big hook knockout. I'm rooting for that because I love the story, and I think that he's become very much a beloved champion. Probably the most loved and recognized at this point in time.
What do you think the over/under is for Alex Pereira by submission?
Non-existent.
Should I put $10 on it? I should put $10 on it.
Can you?
Well, he has one submission loss. His only loss was to Paul Craig by a triangle choke.
When did that happen? Look. When was that?
2018. That wasn't that long ago.
I'm like, I don't see it anywhere on this topology.
It wasn't that long ago. That was 2018. So I would be amazed if anyone were to threaten Ankalaev on the ground again since then. But yeah, that's something that happened back in the day.
I'm looking. Oh, it happened one more time in his amateur days.
Oh,
in 2014,
wow.
Murad Abdurakhmanov submitted him. It doesn't say what kind of submission. It just says submission.
He submitted his heart.
Yes, but he came back strong.
Yeah.
That was in 2014. Okay, so
that's the only way to beat him. You can't knock him out. He has no neck under that beard. It's just pure chin.
None whatsoever. Yeah, it's a tough one.
It's wild, right? I don't think I've ever seen Ankalaev hurt either.
No.
In a fight by
No,
strikes.
he's a solid fighter.
Yeah. So this is, man, I'm scared for Pereira. Like, if you're big on Ankalaev, put your money on him because, like, this is a heart bet. Like, it really can go either way, but I'm surprised that Ankalaev is a dog. I really am.
Is he really? I was just going to ask, what was the over-under?
Oh, well, I haven't looked it up. I just assumed because Twitter said Pereira is going to win. So I assume. But I feel like he might be.
Let's see. What are the opening odds?
Should we check Dual Bits to find what the odds are for Pereira versus Magomed?
Yes. Do it. I mean, it's MMA and anything could happen. So we will see. But I am interested to see. I feel like the odds would be for Pereira as well.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so.
Okay. Pereira is, he's minus, it's even. He's minus 112 and Magomed is minus 112. So
I wonder how that's going to shift.
Yeah. So you don't make much money. Betting on this thing that no one is going to be able to predict. Don't do it.
Yeah, just skip that one.
Hey, if you have a parlay, you can go both ways and then make some money off of that. But I'm super excited for this fight. This is going to be the biggest test of Alex Pereira's career as an MMA fighter. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm scared.
A true test.
I'm scared. And then who do you have for the co-main?
I have Gaethje just because this is a really short notice fight. Mm-hmm. So I'm going for Gaethje.
Yeah, I have to say the same thing. I feel like he did a good job of shutting Fiziev down when they first fought. And if anything, he just had to do more. Like Fiziev had to do more in the second and third round, and he wasn't able to. And without a camp, I can't see him being able to put out more output than Gaethje. It was a few years ago, so that's not really going to do a lot to the cardio. Like, it's not like Gaethje will turn into an old man overnight. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's going to be a bit of the same. It was a great fight, though. Like, there was a lot of back and forth. If Fiziev can catch Gaethje in the first round, I think that can, make a big difference in the way that this fight goes as opposed to the last one. But, yeah, I think Gaethje's just going to end up in a dogfight again and come out on top.
Yeah, that's how I see it going too. Yeah. I'm really excited. I just noticed this one. We have King Green and Mauricio Ruffy.
Oh, okay. Who's Mauricio Ruffy?
He's from Fight Nerds.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm betting on him.
Oh no!
I'm sorry.
Why?
I'm so sorry. He's so good.
These dang Fight Nerds.
One, he's freaking huge, and he is so pristine with his striking. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm really excited about this one.
Okay, so Mauricio Ruffy, he just beat James Lantop by a unanimous decision. He knocked out Jamie Malarkey, who's a very good striker. Raymond Magomedov, and Runs Torres. Well, that wasn't on. But yeah, that was his last 4 fights. So he's on a pretty good run right now. 3 or 2-0 in the UFC. 3 if you count his Contender Series. And yeah, he's getting a big step up. I mean, King Green has spoiled some newcomers before. So I'm going to put money on King Green just because he's been here before. He's a prospect upsetter. We haven't really seen a prospect upset him aside from Paddy Pimblett, but he's kind of been around. Like, people still call him a prospect because he has the haircut of a 10-year-old, but he's been around. So
he's old.
He's old. He's the old news, at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna pick King Green for this one.
Gotcha. Well, I will see your bet.
We finally
raise you one pair of glasses.
We're finally going up against each other. We've been kind of on the same page.
We have. It's been a nice little walk in the park. It's nice. It's nice.
It's like playing a co-op game instead of a 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
You don't have the same
angst and fire.
Yeah. You're like, let's work together and communicate.
No more.
Toss me that burger.
No more.
You know what we should play? Have you ever played Overcooked?
No.
Oh, you would love it.
Would I? Are there animals?
No. Well, yeah, actually. You can be an animal. Like, your character can be like a little animal, but it's not like that great. But the whole thing is you're a chef. And you're making food and you have to communicate. So all the burgers will be on my side, but then all the burger buns will be on your side. And then the condiments will be on my side. So we have to like toss it to each other and build a burger and then serve it and make sure it looks nice. Like, you can't have random stuff on the plate. It's really fun. Me and Adam got in a lot of like fights playing it.
You weren't passing the patties fast enough.
I'm like, give me the plates. You got to clean the plates. You have to. It's all this fun stuff, but it's a fun communication game. I feel like it made our bond in the corner better.
Okay. So you can like handle it during high stress situations.
Yeah,
because you've conditioned and you've done all of this work before actually getting into the corner.
Exactly. It was for work. It wasn't for. We weren't just doing it because we were fucking around.
Just sitting on the couch playing with each other, like hitting each other and yelling
at each, cussing each other out, blaming each other for failing.
Yeah.
And then having the elation of passing the board. We did it. Made all the hot dogs. Yeah, maybe we'll whip it out one day.
All right.
Yeah. So, I didn't know this one was happening on this card too. You have Amanda Lemos fighting Iasmin Lucindo. Yes, and she's actually a child, 23 years old versus 37. Oh, so old.
So old.
Take her out and shoot her.
Feed her to the young.
Feed her to Hill.
I say Amanda takes this one.
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't super impressed with Lucindo's last fight, but she did what she had to do to get the win.
Yes, she did.
I can't see the same thing happening with Lemos. I think she's a little more resistant to the takedown.
Yeah.
And I think her explosiveness is going to make Iasmin really have to choose her timing wisely. Like she doesn't want to run into something because we know Lemos can drop you on a dime. So yeah, I think Lemos takes this one. I think she's just a little more
bigger, stronger, seasoned.
Yeah, a little more experienced in the higher ranks than Iasmin is. But we've seen her level up each time she gets out there, so we shall see. But it's a big step up, man. It's a huge step up for her. I think I felt like Rodriguez eked by on the last one, but she got the win, and now she gets to try her tryout, taking out a bigger head. And if she wins this one, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to set her up for a title shot after that.
A title shot?
Lemos is like number 5. Yeah, like, did I hear you correctly?
I know, I had to adjust it.
This is what happens. I'm just saying. I'm not happy about it, but it's what happens.
No.
Because I think Lemos is ranked like, what, number 5 right now?
Hold on, I have the rankings right around the corner. Lemos, yeah, she's number 5.
Yeah, so if she wins this one, there's a good chance they jump her. Because who's the top 1 through 4 after that?
Jan is number 1. Tatiana Suarez is still number 2. Virna number 3. Number 4, Jess Condrad. Number 5, Amanda Lemos. And then, right underneath that is Mackenzie Dern at number 6.
Yeah, so I'm not sure who Virna is fighting, if she's booked.
Isn't she fighting Jan?
Oh, okay, yeah, she's fighting Jan. If Jan wins, I feel like if they had a toss-up between rematch with Jan or New Girl, who has a streak, and she's ranked number 5, they would choose New Girl.
I just think that is a terrible matchup.
No, I don't think she has a chance in hell.
That's terrible. Like, I don't want to see that.
But I wouldn't
Nobody
be surprised if it happens.
Nobody wants to see that.
And if they do a UFC China again, of course they're gonna give the best, easiest matchup to their Chinese champion.
No, Chinese are ruthless. They want to see Chinese on Chinese action.
I mean, maybe they do, but Jan has to win this fight first if she's able to do that. And if it's a toss-up between Virna and New Girl, who is probably going to get beat up, they're going to do that. New Girl, who is, and no disrespect to her, New Girl, who is not as seasoned as Virna, who has beaten a lot of people, submitted a lot of people in the top 10.
I just
like they're gonna if they're trying to keep Whaley on top, I wouldn't be surprised if she got a title shot after getting past Lemos.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying.
This is what happens
effectively.
This is what happens. I'm telling you.
I just still don't like it.
Yeah, girl. Do you think I like it? Do you think I like it?
No. I'm just not happy about it.
Well, I'm glad we agree on that. Mark my words. On this day, the 2nd of March, said it would happen. Yeah, so this could be a title contention for it. I think the more impactful win. So if Jan versus Virna and this Lemos versus Lucindo, whoever wins out of those two, whoever has the most impressive win, I think can can look at a title shot next.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I do understand that is the way of the world. I still don't like it.
Yeah.
You're never going to get me on board with it.
No. But it's not you who we have to appease. It is.
Isn't it, though?
It is.
It should be.
It is Uncle Dana.
What about Auntie Jess?
Uncle Hunter. Hey man, you need to get your ass in there. Start working on the other side of things.
I've thought about
Go
that.
talk to your boys, man. I'm sure if they did want to bring an atomweight division in, who better to matchmake?
Well, you also have seasoned matchmakers that can do a good job, but I'm still trying to make atomweight a thing, even outside of the UFC.
Well, you're gonna be making it a thing in May.
April. No, May. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
So we have some clarity now.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell them what you know.
All right. So May 11th and May 12th, there will be 2 shows in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yes. There will be, it's supposed to be in LA. I can't reveal the venue just yet.
Secret venue.
But we do have a venue secured. And we do have the dates, May 11th and May 12th.
Is it going to be like Fight Club, like in someone's basement?
No, it's actually like a good venue.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So your fears are no longer.
Well, it hasn't happened yet. So,
Oh, no.
so I'm still cautiously optimistic.
What was the place that you were worried about it being?
Oh, the Commerce Casino.
You got some microphone on you.
Oh,
You-
my.
You over there eating the microphone.
I'm hungry.
Are you
It's
hungry?
dinner
You
time.
cutting?
Feed me.
Poor Adam.
Oh my God, I'm going to be so hungry for months. I'm going to be so freaking hungry. I have to do extra cardio. Oh my gosh.
Yay. Long runs,
I know. I'm
swimming, drinking ice chips to feel full.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. But I'm actually really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
Remember I said that now.
I got it on tape.
Yeah.
I'll play the clip for you.
Yeah. Just
like,
remember
hey,
you wanted this.
When you isolate clips, I'll be like, hey, 51, 55.
Put them all together. Compilation.
Just save that for me. You don't have to post it.
Anytime you start complaining. Sorry, what?
Really excited about this.
So excited.
Yeah. Every time I cut weight, I'm like, yeah, I would never do atom weight. And then as soon as I'm done, I'm like, yeah, I feel like I could have cut another 5-10 pounds.
It's fine. No problem.
Be
It's all
easy.
in the preparation.
Yeah.
I just can't, can't like cram at the end like I'm studying for a test.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta start far enough out.
Yeah, like the rest of the straw weights.
I know. I'm gonna have
Like
to.
all those other big bitches.
I know. Like I'm 2 weeks out. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. We don't really start dieting until week of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. Anything else happening in the MMA sphere?
No.
We're done.
We're done for today.
Goodbye. We'll see you on the
Yes.
flip.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us.